Alright, welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be showing you how to brew Deadman Walking on pour over in the exact same way that you would have it in any of the De Mello cafes or any cafes that serve De Mello coffee. Deadman Walking is a great pick-me-up. It is a very dark, very bold coffee that will get you up in the morning and get you energized. However, because it is so dark, that means that we have to treat it in a certain way. Even dark and bold coffees need to be extracted properly to make sure that we don't get any unpleasant bitter notes in them. So the first thing that we're going to be doing to ensure that is we're going to be using water at 91 degrees Celsius. And that's a little bit lower than we normally use in the rest of these recipes. And that's just going to ensure that we don't over extract and get any of those unpleasant bitter notes. Next, the brew ratio that we're going to be using is 1:18. For myself, I'm going to be using 15 grams of coffee, and that means 270 grams of water. Whatever dose you're using, I'll leave some examples up here, but be sure to follow that brew ratio. So we're going to start off by weighing out 15 grams of coffee. Once we have that 15 grams of coffee, we're going to grind it a little bit, probably coarser than you would normally grind for pour over. The time we're looking for in this extraction, again 1:18, is around 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So we're gonna grind this up. And then once we have that ground, we are going to put it into our already pre-wet and pre-warmed brewer. Now, because this is such a dark coffee, when you are grinding, you might find that using a little bit of RDT can be helpful to avoid too much static. RDT is the act of adding a little bit of water to get rid of any static that might have built up on the beans. My preferred way of doing this is simply wetting your finger and stirring your beans in that dosing cup when you are weighing it out. Just a quick tip. So now that we have our dose in our brewer, the first step with our 91 degree water is going to be doing a 50-gram bloom. So let's do that now. We'll tare our scale and we're putting in 50 grams. And what that bloom is allowing, and we'll give it a little bit of a swirl. And what that bloom allows is to let any trapped gases, any gases that are stored in the roasting process to escape and give us a more even and sweeter extraction. And we're going to leave that there for 30 seconds before doing our next pour. So after that 30 seconds, we're then going to proceed with 110 grams of water. So that brings us up to 160. And at 160, we'll again give it a light swirl just to settle that bed and make sure we're getting a nice even extraction, make sure no grinds are sticking to the outside of the brewer. So we're now at 160 grams. After this has settled a little bit, we'll add the final amount up to, in my case, 270 or whatever brew ratio dose to yield that you've chosen. So now seems like a good time to do that. We'll add that in up to 270. And again, we're aiming for a total brew time, a total drawdown of around 2 minutes and 15 seconds for this. So there we go. You can give it one light shake, not too much or that could clog the filter, but we're gonna let this draw down and it should end around the 2 minute and 15 second mark. Now, as always, I encourage you to brew to your specific taste and preferences. This is just how we do it in our recipe. If you find it is a little bit too bitter, you might wanna shorten that ratio, put a little bit less water in, or if you find that you want a little bit more out of it, a little bit more extraction, you can put a little bit more water in, or even increase the temperature a little bit. It's all up to personal taste. This is just our starting point. So we can see this just finishing up here. We are almost spot on at 2 minutes and 15 seconds. That doesn't normally happen. And there we have it. We're gonna let this finish up. And that is how you brew Deadman Walking, just like you would have it at any cafe that serves this coffee. Now all that's left to do is remove the brewer, make a little bit of a mess, and then serve it into your cup of choice. So I hope that you found this video useful. Thank you guys so much for watching and enjoy.